Hello and Happy New Year! It is so good to have you back with us today for our ENL 2-Minute Tips. As school starts up again for you, it is so important to take the time to recenter all of your students, and especially any new students, to the classroom community. For this reason, our team would like to focus today's tip on nurturing a classroom community that is inclusive and celebratory of all of your students' identities, especially for those students whose identities may be traditionally and historically underrepresented. One of my favorite ways to invite students of any age into this conversation is by beginning with a read-aloud. Books like The Day You Begin by Jacqueline Woodson can really help ground the conversation. In this particular story, students will read about the experience of not seeing yourself represented in the spaces you inhabit, and how powerful and necessary it is to share our stories with others. One simple way that you can follow up this read aloud is by creating a space for communal sharing through an activity called What's in the Bag? This activity requires you to provide a bag to your students and then ask them to fill the bag with 5 items of personal and/or cultural significance to them. I encourage you to explicitly invite your students to dig deep with these items and to bring forward objects that are maybe representative of their own family histories and inner identities. You'll also want to consider framing the activity with some sharing norms for respectful sharing and conversation, and with whatever additional parameters make sense to you in your classroom. Brown paper bags from grocery stores tend to work really well and set a good boundary for the size of objects that may be shared. Of course, this activity may also be done in the virtual setting by assigning each student a slide on Google Slides and asking them to include 5 pictures or icons that represent their items. I have seen students of all ages just come to life when given the opportunity to share mementos from their own lived experiences and backgrounds. I can distinctly recall one of my 4th graders bringing an iconic Mexican sitcom figure, El Chavo del Ocho, into our classroom space. And I don't think I'll ever forget the way my students' faces lit up when they saw a common character in our classroom. You may have students who take turns in sharing and displaying these items in your classroom, or perhaps even poetically, these items can remain in their backgrounds if you're in a virtual setting. Thank you all so much for all that you're doing to help your students feel seen and valued in your classroom community. We'll be praying for you as you work to build more fully inclusive communities in this new year.